Good afternoon to you and good evening to Ko guys already thing. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This is episode 23 of Let's Talk Justice, brought to you by the Government Communication and Information System in support of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. My name is Musoto Stone. Together right up until 7:05, and as usual, we are tackling and unfolding the issues around the services of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Tonight, we are talking the Sexual Offences High Court. Ribuakadi Sexual Offences High Court. As we know that sexual related crimes are quite very rife in South Africa. Every week in, week out, we read, we hear on radio, we see on TV, somebody has been arrested because they molested the child. Somebody is a victim and cannot actually express themselves because the perpetrator is living amongst the community that she's staying in. And we hear about the raping and killing of homosexuals and all those kinds. So we are talking that tonight. Labantu si nabo emphakathini yethu. So please, let's get to engage and also see a way forward where we make South Africa a better place. Dumelang sanbonani leperile. And tonight I have a privilege and an honor to welcome Aussie Advocate Mafusi Lekeka, who will be with us up until 7:05. Mafusi, thank you very much to our program.
Yeah, thank you, Tete Mosoto Stone. And thank you so much for inviting me.
All right. Now, let's talk about... I mentioned a few of these sexual offenses in my own limited knowledge, but I think you can also elaborate on various kinds in case people are not aware that this kind of action could actually be categorized as a sexual offense. Please take us through that one.
Okay. Sexual offenses, you find them actually in our sexual offenses related matters, in Amendment Act 32 of 2007.
Yes.
So these sexual offenses are categorized. You find your Chapter 2 sexual offenses, Chapter 3, Chapter 4 sexual offenses. Now, Chapter 2 deals with your rape matters, where a person has sexual intercourse with another person without the consent of that person.
That's right.
Yes, and then you have your compelled rape. Your compelled rape is where a person compels another person to have a sexual intercourse with another person. It's not the two people, there's three people, but one forces the other to have sexual intercourse with another person.
Say maybe, let's just put it this way, by Lady Biri, and then Watalena Lewan, and then they expect to sleep with her or him.
No,
both of them.
Basically, let's say it's three people. It's Tom, Jerry, and Peter.
Yes.
Now, here it's Tom forces Jerry to have sexual intercourse with Peter.
Yes.
Yes. So the two don't want to have sexual intercourse, but Tom forces the two to have sexual intercourse. So he's compelling these two to have sexual intercourse.
I remember a story where there was one Chinese national who actually forced one of the domestic workers to have to sleep with his dog.
Yes,
something like that.
Yes,
all right,
something like that.
Yes.
So the two don't actually want to have sexual intercourse, but the other one is compelling them to have sexual intercourse.
Yes.
Yes. So that is also an offense in terms of our Sexual Offences Act. And then we have also sexual assault. Yes, where one touches the private part or the breast of a woman or a girl. And then we also have compelled sexual assault. Now, sexual assault has got two. There's one where there's a threat.
Yes.
Or they're inspiring the belief, where a person believes that this person's action actually inspires that I'm going to be sexually
No
violent.
means yes.
Yes.
The no means yes kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, and then you have your compelled sexual assault. You also have sexual grooming and others.
Yes.
And then you also have your chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 3 is where we deal with offenses relating to children. Your pornography matters, your child exploitation, sexual exploitation, and then chapter 4 it's mentally disabled people. So they are also covered. And then we also have chapter 5, chapter 4, we said it's mentally challenged people, right? Disabled people. And then we have chapter 5. Chapter 5 is not actually offenses, but it's services that are available to the victims, and then your compulsory HIV testing. For example, when I've been raped, and then there's sections where I can request that the perpetrator who has raped me be tested for HIV. Yes. And then you have your chapter 6, which deals with the National Register for Sexual Offenders, where if a person has been convicted of a sexual offense against children and people who are mentally disabled, should be entered in that register.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Remember, I am speaking to Advocate Mafusi Lekeka. She is the state advocate with the National Prosecuting Authority. I'm right?
Yes.
Yes. And we are talking the new concept. Well, it might be new to some. It might be some aware of the process that has been going on. So we're talking sexual offenses courts. Dikantoro tsa molao tse like tsa botšhotšhisi tse leng gore di samahana haholo le the crimes tse di related to rape and sexual offenses and sexual crimes and all that. So engage us. We're living with many people amongst our communities who actually have been shy or reluctant to come out, or even feeling that the access is not good enough, particularly in the rural areas where many of our listeners are right now, and in the peri-urban areas where you find that if you are hamuleji, now you have to go to Polokwane on a daily basis to go and attend the case of somebody who actually offended you sexually in that sense. How ulimo situation in Yalo, do speak to us either by 0800 142 446. It's a toll-free number. However, I'm working with Shanine and Linda tonight. Shanine will be taking on your calls if you want to speak to Advocate Lekeka. However, also Victor will be taking on your social media at DOJCD_ZA on Twitter. And on Facebook is the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. On Instagram is at DOJCD. So it's 0800 142 446. That's the toll-free number. However, Shanine can call you back if you're using your cell phone. But if you're on landline, mahala. Like wololo, not dololo. All right. Okay, right now it's 6:15. And let's talk about the concept of the courts. We've been having courts all along, and probably this emanates from not doing enough, or maybe trying to escalate the intervention. Please take us through the establishment of the sexual courts themselves.
Okay. At some point we did have sexual offenses court,
Yes.
but then they were not functioning, to the
expected.
yes. And then somehow they just fell off, and now the department again saw the need that to revive those sexual offenses courts.
Yes.
Courts. I mean, it's very important that we understand how sensitive it is to deal with sexual offenses, and these people are vulnerable.
Yes.
They have experienced trauma, and so the setup of courts, it's a public place. So to have a person that has been violated being exposed again to a public court,
Yes,
where everybody is, and now they have to come and relate details of sexual offense,
Mo pela matla a batho.
where everybody, you know, is. It's not a good thing. It actually causes more trauma, and hence we have this court where we having also a specialized people who are dealing with these offenses, because not everybody can do these cases.
Not everybody is trained to actually handle
this
the vulnerability of
Yes.
that the people are bringing and all that
Yes.
stuff. So, are you? Will it be part of the capacity building approach that you will be taking as the department on this one?
Yes, we do have specialized prosecutors that have been appointed to work with sexual offenses. Yes, we have most of our prosecutors, especially in the regional court and the high court, they've been exposed to sexual offenses, and they have dealt with sexual offenses.
So we're not going to get a situation where this poor vulnerable soul comes and here comes this over arrogant official say, yeah, let's mama si lona la teng. You see sometimes passing small comments such as that could do quite a lot in this. How do you deal with such kind of like basically how do you ensure that people are as free as possible and feels like this will be a safe process for them? Because the main thing here is about safety, emotional safety for that matter.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think the department has done a great deal in training the prosecutors with sexual offenses. We have a training annually that is held by the National Prosecuting Authority, training the prosecutors, especially on a concept of social context, to sensitize people who are dealing with these issues about, a lot of things that you can expect from a victim. Not every victim is the same. So in each case, you have to approach it with on its own merit.
Yes.
So you cannot put a blanket,
That's right.
the same blanket over all people.
Yes.
So we have been sensitized to deal with it. So social context plays a major role in sexual offenses because it gives you that knowledge on how to deal with your vulnerable people. Because you find, for example, a person that was at a tavern and they were raped while they were
having a drink or two.
A drink or two. The dress code was, so you cannot judge that person only because they were having alcohol or the way they were dressing. Understand what I mean?
That's
so
right.
That's how the department is educating the prosecutors to deal with these matters.
All right, Advocate, I'm going to ask you that you put your headphones now that we're going to be talking to the audience now, and we have Temba. Temba is from KwaZulu Natal. Hello, Temba. Temba. Hey, Utemba Matot. Okay, we're moving on still in KZN, and there's Sinami. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correct. Hello, Sinami? Sinamile. All right, apologies for that one also. I'm very, very well. How are you doing? All right.
Hello, me.
Speak South African, from Zulu to Shangaan to Venda, everything that you can speak. Yeah, speak South African one is. Don't surprise us with Kinyarwanda right now. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mm. Mm. Yes. Mm. 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 Usasekhona yena, you see him every day. Okay. Mm. So what do you think? Do you want to launch a case, or do you maybe need just help for your own self? Because there's two things here. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Osenamila, for your very big heart, and I think you're already making a big step towards peace with actually trying to even forgive the old poor soul who probably I wouldn't say that he didn't know what he was doing, but thank you so much for being such a big-hearted person and actually looking for help. Let's hear what advocate is going to say about that one. Ne? Ngiyabonga kakhulu sisi. All right. And we move off to Eastern Cape, Aliwal North. Morana Patko. Patko. Hey, get paid all around that. Hey.
Ntumela ntate.
Okay. Mm. Mm. Okay, sir. Mm. Mm. Thank you so much to Parko and Takalani Community Radio. They are based in Aliwal North in the Eastern Cape. And we're moving from Eastern Cape to Free State. Ndade Mudlatup. Moranaka Gitswile wena. Hantla holomre. Hey. Mm. 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 Yeah. Hey. Hey. Mm. Thank you, Mranaka. Thanks to Ntate Tupa. He's listening to Naledi Community Radio. It's based in Senegal. Senegal, the town, not Senegal, the country that we just beat over the weekend. Temba is back. Oh, Temba, man. Kanti lo mdlalo wakhe kanti uTemba. Okay, we'll wait for Temba, but in the meantime, Advocate Lekeka, Kitseo Dipotso. We're starting with Usinamile. Quite a very touching story of many kids and many men and women who grew up in situations where we had so many family members we get to know, we get to trust, family friends and all those kinds. You see, I'm going to just expand it so that South Africa actually gets to understand that cases like Ausinamile, they're quite all over the place, and we've heard about them so many times. Now, she needs help, and can we emphasize on that service that you're talking about, to say it's not necessarily the sexual offences court is about prosecuting. It's also about helping people like Sinamile?
It's true. Also, Sinamile's case it's very common.
Yes.
It's not something isolated.
Mm-hmm.
I would, my advice would be, I'm not an expert, but having dealt with sexual offences for so many years,
Mm-hmm.
I would say counseling plays a major role.
Yes.
When a person has been violated.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion would be to Ausis Namile that she approach the Department of Social Development,
Mm-hmm.
because those are our social workers that we work closely with that department in. I will speak about the model that we have there, Tutuzela Care Center model.
Yes.
We work closely with the Department of Social Development. They help us with trauma containment, they help us with counseling, and your short-term counseling and your long-term counseling. So I think if she can go through the process of counseling, and thereafter, maybe after she has dealt with the issues that she has, then she will be able to make a decision as to what to do with this matter, whether to go to the court, to open a case or not, I wouldn't say to her, go and open a case. It is her decision, because at the end of the day, she needs to be able to come and testify when the case is ready to be
That's right,
to
yes.
be heard in court.
And it's quite a long time ago, where the facts might have been somehow distorted, or maybe not distorted per se. What's the English word? Like you might have forgot some of the things because you were only 6 years old at that time.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But now I want to also extend it a little bit here, Advocate, to say, would you also advise her, because lately there is a victim offender reconciliation programs that happen. Would you advise her to, maybe after dealing with the stuff, to involve Ntate to come and actually see and realize what he did back then, just for his own sake as well? Because right now you can hear from Usisina Miloguti, uyamzwela lo baba. He's an old guy now. He's got nothing in his own, and he's just a simple man with simple nothings and all that kind of stuff. Would you say also it will be important for maybe to get to introduce this offender-victim relationship, where you get to understand each other and see that this was wrong? I'm not sure if you're doing it from your department, or it could be a social work, social development role. But of course, that to some point could be very important as well.
I don't know how effective that is, if it's happening, if it's been done. But I would say it should be done correctly if it's been done.
That's
because
right.
now at the end of the day, I would not advise us as Namile to do that. She has to be the person that she has to be ready to engage with the perpetrator. Hence I'm saying the process of counseling, if she were to receive a proper counseling, she will be in a position to determine as to what is it that she wants to do in respect of her getting closure. Yes, but it will not be appropriate for me or anybody else to suggest that she engage the perpetrator. I don't think it's fair. She needs to be the person that initiates that I am ready to speak with the perpetrator, and it has to be a the correct platform.
Yes.
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 Because there's a lot that, I mean, if she says she's 29.
She's 29
and this
now.
happened like when she was
6 years.
6 years old.
Yes.
So you can imagine if now she still feels, you know, those emotions, even though it happens 2 decades ago. I mean, it's not simple. So you can never suggest to a person that, you know, reconcile with the perpetrator, forgive the perpetrator, and all those things. It has to come from them willingly so. Yes. Because you might actually do more harm than good when you start doing that, and you know.
That's true. All right, thank you, advocate, on that one. Let's get into Patco's 2 questions: the work sexual harassment, the reluctance to open cases. How do you encourage people to actually come up? You see, it could be willingly, but you see the access and all those things, as we were talking earlier on, to say sometimes it might be about being afraid of to being afraid of how you will be judged and all that kind of stuff. Do you have ways of actually encouraging people to see this as an offense and immediately report it and do something about it? This time around, he's talking about work sexual harassment. Like the whole story is that this person was sexually harassed at work. It was seen by many people, but she chose not to do anything about it, and it keeps on happening.
Okay, in a workplace, there are, I think, policies that govern certain acts. Yes, and then we also have your Sexual Harassment Act that has been passed.
What if that person is a boss?
It's very tricky, but we try to make people aware, you know, through our awareness campaigns, you know, information sessions, and you know, just to try and sensitize people and for people to understand that it is their right. I mean, if you have been violated, you have every right to act upon the violation. I mean, I know that there's a person like you are saying, in a case of a boss, people are reluctant, but I mean, you cannot just let things slide because a boss has violated you. I mean, you get what I mean. At the end of the day, I think it's the person's decision to, you know, to make that decision to say, I'm taking a stand. And obviously we are having laws and how people can be protected once you know, case has been opened. You know.
Yeah, which reminds me of a case that recently was all over the media. I'm not going to mention names, but it happened that one big politician had a PA and they had some riffraff as they were going somewhere. And big ups to that organization that took a decisive decision to actually handle things internally. So if things are, it shows that if things are properly placed within the workplace, then you should be able to get your justice.
That's true.
All right.
That's
you don't always have to go to court with it.
That's true.
All right.
You have it. I think you can do things within your workplace, but then that does not mean that you cannot institute a criminal offense.
Yes.
If what has been done to you is in terms of the law a criminal offense as well, so you can also institute a criminal offense. But within the workplace, there are policies. Hence, I've said there are policies that will then, you know, the way they will deal with those things and how the outcome is going to affect one or the other party, or and you know, your compensation or whatever. But then criminally, we know that the outcome will either be a conviction or an acquittal, and if there's a conviction, there's always a sentence that couples that conviction.
All right, thank you, advocate. And then the media exposure to kids. That's what Muhlwa Tupa from Free State was actually highlighting on, to say, I think you've lived long enough in South Africa to have seen Yizo Yizo, and there was a rape scene that everybody raved on about. At that time, things were a bit different than 2016. But now, those kind of things we see, programs are all over the place, sometimes misplaced with times and all those things, even though the BCCSA is there and other structures and everything. Now, here's this exposure. Kids, they are like, you see, you do. Now, they get to see all the... How does the sexual offences court get into intervening in terms of awarenesses that you are talking about, where you speak to media producers, probably you speak to content people to actually put this into perspective to make sure that, you know, trends are not being said that are not relevant to kids when it comes to media exposure?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm just thinking that you know, from a personal point of view, not in relation to my work or anything. Yes. We as people should also play our part. And I mean, I think in most programs you see that there's your parental guide, that is when there's going to be scenes of maybe nudity, language and whatever. They always highlight there that you know, parental guidance must be used. So at the end of the day, I think it's also upon we as the communities to say, I'm not going to watch this program with my child, and immediately when the scene is you know, appears on TV, then you take a stand and say, you change the channel, or you know, look, as government we try by all means to educate people.
People need to meet us halfway.
But people also need to meet us halfway.
As simple as that.
Yes, and talk to your kids as well. And I always say that when you are informed, you can actually educate. You know, you don't have to be in a certain platform to know, but educate yourself, know these things, read, you know, listen to the radio, and, you know, engage,
take action.
Equip yourself with information so that when you're sitting with your children, sensitize your children, teach your children about these things. They happen. It's not only the TV. We buy our children cell phones. They access a lot of things. We don't know. We don't see when they are sitting with the laptops,
what they're doing with their social media and everything.
Doing with their social, but we need to get out of that place where we don't talk about these issues with our children. We have to talk to these children about these issues.
It is the Let's Talk Justice program coming to you live every Thursday from here at the GCIS studios. And thanks to the partnering radio stations in all the 9 provinces, we are working with up to 70 radio stations on this one. And let's go to callers again. And it looks like we are in KZN again with Sibonelo. Sibonelo? Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I am fine, sir.
Ngiyaphila nami sir. Brasbon.
I want to know about the whistleblowers.
Sorry, sir?
I want to know about the whistleblowers.
I'm not sure if I'm getting you quite very well. Ungachaza kancane ba?
I want to know about the protection of the whistleblowers.
The whistleblowers.
And because the person who reports the complaint to the police, sometimes information should leak out because what protection should be.
Oh, I see. Ngiyakuzwa Butsibonelo, is that all bewufuna ukukhuluma ngathi nga? Okay, ngiyabonga. Okay. Let's hear what advocate is going to say about that one, right? Ngiyabonga. Let's move to Musa. He's also in KZN. And switch off your radio, Musa. Hey, how are you doing, Musa?
I'm good enough.
It's all good.
Wonderful.
Talk to us, my brother. Yes. Mm. Yes. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Thank you so very much to Inanda FM. It's based in Durban in KwaZulu Natal. We're moving on to Limpopo. Brian? Hello, Brian? I'm fine. How are you doing, Brian? Moranaka. Yeah. Okay. Ke lebohile thata le Mohodi FM, which is based in Hamantata. Hopefully, so no rona kwa. All right, and advocate, there we are. Whistleblowing. I will put a scenario to it. Sihlala flat these days, and basically, when somebody screams on the other side, you can hear very well. Now you hear what's going on over there. You find that it's a bunch of juveniles coming from somewhere, what we were talking about earlier. And now here you are, you call the police. The police find them, and now they want you to be the witness to this because you called and all that kind of stuff. What protection guarantees do you have? Does the Sexual Offences Court organize that for somebody like that? I hope that's what I understood out of what Sibonelo was actually saying, because he was saying whistleblowing, which of course it's about reporting something that you see. But on the sexual part of it now, here we are. There's two pimps here. They are dealing with kids. They are trafficking, because trafficking also comes with sexual offenses, crimes, and all those kind. You're sitting next to them. Go flat number 9, even go flat number 8. But you only find that these people are dangerous. They're selling drugs and they dragging these kids and all that stuff. Then you decide to blow the whistle, as Sibonelli say. Can you arrange protection for a whistleblower?
The department has a witness protection unit.
Yes.
Yes.
Does it also work?
That deals with, I don't know about the police, how they protect the whistleblowers.
Yeah.
But
now let's focus on this one for DOJ.
Yes. If a person is a witness and is being threatened or being victimized, then we do have that that unit that deals with protection of witnesses.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And then you see, touching versus harassment. You know, when people talk and stuff and all those things, he's making a scenario where it has become something that is quite very common, that, you know, when you're actually trying to twist something out of someone. Say, for instance, you want me to borrow you money, and so I'll still no twaramona limona and stuff, and you find that the person gets offended simply because they feel like they have been taken for a fool. Will that be harassment?
I've as I've said earlier on, there is a harassment act. Then there are also policies within the work. There are also policies within the workplace. People should familiarize themselves with those policies as to in terms of such acts if they happen within the workplace.
Yes.
How should they go about reporting such incidents? With sexual offenses, we said we have sexual assault. Sexual assault, it's where a person touches your private part or your breast as a female. We have inspiring the sexual assault, where there is a person acts in a way of inspiring the belief that is going to violate you.
Yes.
So if a person believes that the person who the action was actually inspiring the belief that this other person is going to violate them, then they can go to a police station and report the incident. Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. If you still want to engage us, it's 0800 142 446. This is Let's Talk Justice. If you have just joined us, welcome. Your productivity for the whole day. You were working for South Africa somewhere, but right now we're talking about the Sexual Offences Court, which is a reintroduction of the model of Sexual Offences Courts. They've been there before, but there were some few challenges in terms of administering management and all those, but it has been reintroduced under our current minister, Mr. Mike Masuta, who will be also launching a high court. In fact, the Sexual Offences Court, next to Soetfontein, that one will be happening on the 25th of November 2016. So if you are around Harapatlela, go Butlava Balimpopo. How ya kwa? Go Butlava Balimpopo. That's where these Sexual Offences Courts will come to the callers just now. Are they going to be established? Like I'm thinking Harapatelo and Sekosese is quite a very rural area. Are you prioritizing rural areas as well as townships maybe? How does it unfold?
I don't know how the Department of Justice is going about it, but there is quite, I think in both the rural areas and your townships as well as the urban areas, there are sexual offences courts. Yes.
All right. Okay, let's get on to the callers now. We have Elvis calling from Western Cape in Cape Town. Hello, Elvis. Elvis. Hoe gaan het, Elvis? Okay. Okay. Hey. Okay. Victor is listening and he's taking your number as well. I think this one needs to be followed up outside this program because it's not actually related to the Sexual Offences Court. But otherwise, Nkosi Tatu Elvis, we're giving you a number yako to Victor. Victor is going to follow up sometime during the week. All right. Okay, he's gone. All right. Eastern Cape, Renalilebo. Ndadelew. Okay, Pete and Tater Kaukalo. Eh. Eh. Mm. Yes. Mm. Mm. Hey, gale re di bona tseo ntate Lebo. Gale re di bona re gola sekolong kwana. Mm. Mm. Hey. 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 Mm. Mm. Ke nna we. Ke lebohile Morena Malebsa. Thank you. Thanks you to Aliwal North. What's that? Takalani Community Radio is based in Aliwal North. Thank you, sir. It's what I was talking about, Advocate Lekeka, that here you are, and here is a real scenario that Lebo saw. Oti. People go to the taverns, and just because of money and everything, kids get exploited. And it's a very tough case to get into when somebody actually gave consent, but they are young, isn't it? So how do you look at it from the NPA's perspective?
Okay. A child is a person under the age of 18.
Yes.
Yes. So, the sexual offences, if a child is below 16, if that child is between 12 and under 16, even though they gave a consent for a sexual act, we still prosecute the perpetrator because we're saying that child is not, even though they gave consent.
Maybe my interest will be on what grounds would that person be prosecuted? Because one, banaba batswa ba ikisa tavini, I invite you. Well, no under 18, Okrawasnasa, and it's all good and all that stuff. Now, on what grounds would you actually prosecute that particular person?
Okay, the Act says it provides for Section 15 and Section 16 for to protect children between 12 and under 16.
Yes.
So that child can give consent, will give consent, but we will still prosecute because we are saying we are protecting the child. Because you find a 30-year-old man, because that child is vulnerable, is going out to the taverns because most probably there's a lot of influence.
The social challenges they have, of course, yeah.
Yes. And these elder people, they are exploiting them. So it is our duty as that is why that particular sections were enacted in that act to protect those children.
Yeah. Sexual manipulation. Lebo buile moare dilo tsere kile re di bona le rona la ntse re hola one of our classmates nyana mo ntlenyana teacher o tla nantsa ra o tla lo ntlinela go rumunya and sningning this person ona le ngwana le teacher. Sexual manipulation in school,
these cases must be reported. And in our Sexual Offences Act, we have a section that provides that any person who knows about a sexual offense must actually report, inform the police about this. It is not only the child that's supposed to go and report to say the teacher is. If somebody else is aware that this child, this teacher is engaging with this child in sexual acts, then they must report that teacher. Yes. So it means also that the Department of Education must also take a stand in dealing with those kind of teachers that exploit, children, because that obviously that child will not be able to get education. Yes.
All right. Now, before we go to Abel, just hang on. We will be with you just now. I just want to highlight this point where the perpetrator brings his own lawyer to the sexual offences court. You might be protecting the victim by all means from the institutional perspective, but are you able to protect the victim from the abusive language that the lawyer might be using in trying to solve the case in representing the perpetrator?
I'm not sure if I understand you. Are you saying when the lawyer is asking questions?
Yes, the cross-examination and all those kinds, because obviously he has a mandate to defend the perpetrator. Now he will go all out to make sure that the man or the victim, the perpetrator, let me just put it that way, is actually he gets fair justice, however that, whatever that means in terms of being a perpetrator getting fair justice. But how protected is a victim from the way they will be interrogated by the defending counsel?
It is the duty of the prosecutor to make sure that if the lawyer asks questions in a manner that lacks integrity to the witness, then they must object, and the magistrate must actually take a stand and call the lawyer to order. It is our duty to protect our witnesses, in as much as lawyers protect their clients. So you have to do it in at every cost, but within
the parameters of the
law. Yes.
All right.
So the language, plays a role whereby your victim can be intimidated and also feel victimized as well because of the language, the tone,
the destabilization that we normally see in courts, where you get destabilized so that you get confused and all those kind of things.
True.
It's an art of of representing somebody, right?
That's the art, but the prosecutor's duty is to make sure that they protect the victim.
All right.
Because they can only object to that line of questioning that the defense will be asking.
All right. I am speaking to Advocate Mafusi Likeka. She's the state advocate. She's with the National Prosecuting Authority. It's unfortunate that we were supposed to be joined by two officials from the Department of Justice, because I think in terms of court management and all those, that wouldn't be Advocate Likeka's turf to actually expand. But however, go to www.dojcd.gov.za, right, Victor? It's www.dojcd.gov.za. There's quite a lot of information, including about the Tutuzela care centers that Advocate Likeka has talked about, as well as other projects that relate to that, where you are able to find help. Because our main aim on this program is to make sure that you understand how things work, and also, as Advocate Likeka has alluded, is that there will be quite a lot of people who will be able to take you through these processes to make sure that this is not rocket science, because many of us cannot even speak the language of the courts. We cannot even speak the English that the courts are speaking, because in so many ways we get tongue cramps. And are you able to do these court procedures, particularly for people who do not necessarily speak fluent English in any other language in South Africa?
We are having interpreters in court. I think in all languages, even foreign languages, we have foreign interpreters that assist. So a person a person who is a witness in court, it is their right to speak in the language that they are comfortable in. Yes, in most cases, they speak their home language.
That's
which
right.
is the language that they are conversant in.
Okay.
And hence we have the interpreters to assist.
All right. Okay, let's take our last caller before we run out of time. Abel from KwaZulu-Natal. Sawubona, Abel. Hello, Abel. Ngiyaphila kunjani bani? Ucimile umsakazo ba? Bengithi ucimile umsakazo. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much to Sis Nonhlanhla, who's a manager over there. Thank you so much. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, Siakolisa, if we didn't elaborate quite very much, but anyway, we're going to take it again because it's quite a very serious one where in most cases we're seeing guys as perpetrators and ladies as victims. So we're going to speak about that one and then you listen on the radio, right? You too, sir. All right. I think we're going to also put that social media thing that Mutwa Tupa was also talking about. I think somehow we overlooked it, Advocate Lekeka. Sorry about that, Abel, and thank you for bringing it up again. This harassment of touchy, nicey, and everything, raising my hopes, and then all of a sudden, boo, pants. Like he was saying that we've been talking on WhatsApp, you're sending me all these pictures about you and all that stuff. Now there am I getting interested. But once I get interested, I end up being in trouble for something that was started by the lady. How do we go about that one?
Okay. I think with sexual offenses, we should understand the elements that goes with these offenses. When we talk about rape, what does rape entail? When we talk about sexual assault, what does sexual assault entail? Because if a person has enticed you and then you get to the point whereby now you want to have sexual intercourse, but then they say no, I don't want to have sexual intercourse with you, even though they have enticed you, or that, and then you proceed to doing all that, even though the person has said no.
Can I just clarify this? Is it an offense somehow to lead somebody on?
Is it an offense? I don't think it's an offense.
Why would you want to play with someone's feelings in the first place? Well, it's not a question that I'm asking you. It's not a question that I'm asking South Africa. I'm asking South Africa to say, where do you draw a line in leading somebody on to a point where it does not come out, where Abel comes and says, but we were on this flow, because a lot of guys will say that. They say, but we were on this floor. Look, here's my messages on WhatsApp. She's been promising heaven and earth. You understand? And then probably it's been going on for months. Now, here it comes. I declare my interest and you put everything down just like that. And people have feelings, like he said, Abel, to say, You know you've been investing in this, probably not only in sex but also in affection, in relationship, and of course they all come in one package. And you find that you're interested in that, and all of a sudden you are the one who's in trouble. But now, South Africa, I want to ask you as I leave to say, where do you draw the line in terms of leading somebody on? Because at the end of the day, we meet on all these different situations. We end up getting married because we met like this, like that, like that, like that, like that. But now, where do you clearly make it and say stop? No. That is a question that I'm leaving with you with South Africa today. And it has been a good one. And let's meet again sometime next week again from 6 to 7. And thanks to all the radio stations that took part, and thanks to everybody who took part on it. Brian from Limpopo, Elvis, Lebo, Abel, Sibonelo, Tozama, and all the other guys who contributed to. And thanks to Shenin as well. Shenin Madu is our producer on the telephones. Linda Mazibuku as well as Victor Pala. Thank you so much. My name is Musoto Stone. Leperil. We're safe.